It's a big night here in Miami. The 72 Dolphins, they pop champagne. Final undefeated teams go down this week. But your Miami Heat in preseason, they pop champagne, dude. Justin Champagnie, big-time fourth-quarter performance. Trying to, listen, all these names that are out there trying to get the roster. Cole Swider and of course Cain Train. Who, I continue to think he locks things up. Justin Champagnie's trying to let it be known. Hey, raise his hand. He doesn't want one of those waivers coming anytime soon. And he had a really nice performance there in the fourth quarter. And really just a fun game tonight for your Miami Heat. It was interesting because tonight, against the Memphis Grizzlies, there were some regular season-esque type battles that were fun to see. Namely, you have Bam Adebayo against Jaren Jackson Jr. Bam, who greatly wants to be Defensive Player of the Year and has been woefully underappreciated, and disrespected in voting results, especially when it comes to like first team offense and things like first team defense, and things like that. And I think one of the things, it's not that Jaren Jackson Jr. isn't a fantastic defender. He is. But I think one of the things that frustrates Bam as somebody who's covered him since he's come into the league, and I think one of the things that really frustrates him is that he sees guys do what he's been doing for a shorter amount of time. And I mean that by game minutes, and I mean that by years. He sees the respect that like an Evan Mobley gets or a Triple J gets, and he has been essentially the anchor of an elite Eastern Conference team for 4 straight years and doesn't feel like he's gotten the justified rub that these other guys do. And I think that you saw him tonight. It was very interesting that tonight, Bam Adebayo, who is not a guy who shot blocks a lot. It's not something he pads the stats with. He doesn't go after shot blocks. And I don't think that's a thing that he couldn't do. I think Bam Adebayo could go and hunt for a lot of blocks. He's usually on the team's best defender in the post and things like that. He's not coming and surprising you from, behind a ball handler or on some help defense. He usually is the anchor of the defense. And, he also came up in a time his rookie year where Hassan Whiteside kind of got accused of hunting blocks a lot. And, there was a time I think that he got a little sick of that, even though Hassan was very good at it. And I just thought it was interesting that tonight Bam takes these little battles every now and then, and he like the great ones do. They have a little bit of petty in them. They have a little bit of a keeper of receipts of these things. And I'm sure Bam Adebayo knows a couple of things. Jaren Jackson Jr. has the award that I wanted. Jaren Jackson Jr. was the big man on Team USA that got bounced, lost to Latvia, finished 4th. And I was the center of the Olympic gold medal team. And, everybody's wondering, what about Bam this? What about that? It's like, hey, I've kind of been there, done that. Can you guys respect my resume a little bit? So I just thought that it was definitely, I felt we saw Bam go at Triple J a lot tonight. He had a really, really efficient night tonight. Bam was 26 points, 12 of 20 from the field today. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks in 25 minutes tonight. So I definitely think that Bam was playing with a little something in the tank. And Jaren Jackson Jr. is like, I get it. He's got the flashier stuff. Jaren Jackson Jr. does 2 things more that Bam doesn't. He shoots threes and he blocks shots. And those are not something that, Bam did pull up for a 3 tonight, but, it was kind of wide open. Nobody was in 30 feet of him. And he has not added that element to his game. I don't know when or if he will or if he needs to. But those are definitely things that will get you more flash and get you more headlines. And then Jaren Jackson Jr., though, has, much more is much more prone to fouling players and doesn't and keeps him from playing the amount of minutes he probably should. Because he has those moments like he had against Tyler Herro tonight. he can make those headlines and things like that. So I definitely thought it was a definitely have an element of tonight that was fun to check out. Of course, it is preseason. Let's not get crazy about it, but it made for some fun stuff tonight. As did Tyler Herro, who was as Adebayo, his teammate, was saying in camp. Just looks like he is scoring off the charts tonight. He had 30 points in 31 minutes, 11 and 19 from the floor. And the thing that you liked, he put up 7 threes and he had an efficient night from downtown, 4-7. Got to the free throw line 5 times tonight. You love that from him. And dished it out. Had some beautiful assists. Had one to Jamal Cain in the corner. And then got his Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry on with a nice dish all the way down to Cole Swider. So a beautiful game from the Kentucky boys tonight. You also kind of got that look at the Heat depth tonight because you had a lot of guys that were out. Jay Rich was out. No Nikola Jovic, no Jaime Jaquez Jr., and no Jimmy Butler. So you had a starting lineup tonight that featured Haywood Highsmith essentially as your 3 with a backcourt of Kyle Lowry, Tyler Herro, Kevin Love, and Bam Adebayo. And Lowry got off to a really nice start as far as getting guys involved. I think he had 6 assists in his first burst without even taking a shot attempt. And finished with 9 assists tonight. So he was, doing his typical Kyle Lowry stuff to get everybody involved. Kevin Love got off to a really, really slow start, but he had a nice final burst there in the third quarter. The old don't like preseason. So, I'm not too worried about that with K-Love. Haywood Highsmith, I say the thing with Haywood Highsmith that really stood out today. Obviously, his defense always stands out, but he had a couple of nice finds to Bam Adebayo tonight. He had a nice lob to him and then had him Bam cutting to the rim. So a couple of assists tonight for Haywood Highsmith that were really impressive. And then from the bench's perspective, you got to see Duncan Robinson really end tonight on a high note. Had a great fourth quarter. And then you got to see a little bit from the young guys. Thomas Bryant, give you a nice solid performance all the way around from him. But once again, I would say out of the guys gunning for roster spots, the guy who stood out tonight, just like he did in the San Antonio game, was Jamal Cain. And tonight it was just done in such a different way. He just continues to find himself in these positions where, guys don't put a body on him, and he's always finding his way to the rim for an offensive rebound and a tip-in. He gets himself loose, and Champagnie finds him for the easy lay-in. He had a nice night tonight, still shooting the ball. Tonight, Jamal Cain from downtown was 1 of 2, but he had a big one from Tyler Herro. I think that one, I'm trying to remember what that did in the game. I think it was at the end of the third or maybe beginning of the fourth. Yeah, it made it 97-96 when he found him in the corner. And then Tyler closed the quarter for Miami. He got his own miss on a runner. So Tyler was hustling his after. Headband Hero's a thing, dude. He has been very, very impressive. But then Jamal Cain had this beautiful move that ended up putting the Heat up for good, and he took it to the rim and got the foul, put the Heat up 123-120. And then right after that, Champagnie, who had a really nice fourth quarter, he found Jamal Cain for essentially an alley-oop. So, and then Champagnie really put the dot on it with a steal and slam. So great night for Champagnie. But Jamal Cain, man, again, I said this in the last recap video. If you guys didn't hear with the Wembanyama game, I understand because nobody played. Maybe you weren't that interested in it. But I'll just reiterate. I only really think with Jamal, if you're going by performance of preseason and know a little bit of what he can do and how he has been in the system, and I guess essentially if I'm looking for, he's obviously not the same position as Gabe Vincent, but I think just as a winning player and can add a lot of stuff. He's worked his ass off on that 3-point shot, doing so much work with the likes of the Heat staff and Caron Butler and all that. Just seems to find himself in winning moments, making winning plays. I just think the Heat love that stuff in the margin, especially for a guy who, you might be like, well, what is he gonna? He's not a 3-point specialist. He's not a big. It's he's not, but he just seems to do a little bit of everything where you need him. He's a chameleon almost. I've just been very impressed with him. I think that Jamal Cain, out of all the young guys so far, he does deserve to stick around, and I think is even put an argument in for getting a standard contract. I don't know what they're going to do that flexibility wise, because they may just keep him on the 2-way and then figure it out as the year comes along. If there isn't a last minute move or something like that, then maybe he is more firmly implanted on that. But I think that you think about just maybe a night where if Caleb Martin is a little bit sore, or if Jimmy Butler isn't feeling that great and you're taking on Orlando on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't know. It just feels like he's a guy you can just plug in a multitude of ways and will make an impact in a multitude of ways. And yeah, it's really great to have the next Duncan Robinson in a Cole Swider. And I'm not saying that Cole won't get a spot or make the team or any of that stuff. I just think that Jamal Cain has shown you through these last couple of games, man, he finds a lot of good ways to get an impact. And I just feel like he's been overlooked a lot with obviously the buzz around Jovic and Jaquez, and I think Cole Swider, and I think having a guy like Jay Rich, you may think, what do we need? I don't know, man. Here's the way I look at it with Jamal Cain. The improvement that I see him make and the impact that he seems to have on winning, I'd really hate to see that guy walk out the door. And speaking of walk out the door, it was seeing Anthony Carter on the Grizzlies bench. It was a little bit hurt my heart a little bit, but I'm happy for him. I don't understand why Spo's tree doesn't get more respect around the league. I don't understand that. I think you see, seems like anybody who farts near the Celtics with a clipboard, they get an opportunity, or other staffs, they get opportunity. But the Heat, with all the success and all the greatness they have around player development, and I know everyone's going to throw Fizdale, but David Fizdale was a long time ago, dude. I mean, he's had a staff now with Chris Quinn, Caron Butler, a former All-Star, Chris Quinn, a former NBA point guard, Anthony Carter, a lot of success in the league. And I don't know, man. I just find it strange that there aren't more of those opportunities opening up. Certainly, Anthony's landed in an awesome spot in a place that does develop and like to develop a lot of their own players. And this is a damn good Grizzlies team, man. I mean, you can't talk a lot of mess around them. I'm having a little fun with the Bam versus Triple J thing, but dude, Desmond Bane, and obviously when they get Ja back, but even like Kenny Lofton Jr. is such an interesting prospect that you've seen here for a couple of years. And you look at his body, and obviously everybody kind of just is like, but you can see like they believe in that talent. They believe they can hone in on that. So great plays for Anthony Carter. It was cool to see him and see everybody get the goosies with him there. But yeah, there you go tonight. 132-124 Heat win in preseason action, and they're back at it. I will be boots on the ground for the next one, which will be against the Nets on Wednesday. Hope everybody has a great night.